Hey everyone, welcome back to another fun-filled episode, hopefully, of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 158. The new ones are coming out, as the old ones are disappearing, but they'll be back soon, don't worry. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What is going on, Ian? How you doing in California?
Everything's going well. I'm more concerned about us disappearing. Is this like a Thanos Infinity War kind of situation, or
Almost. Just kind of like a... And that's it. The servers are down.
And there go half our episodes.
Oh, boy. That's a storage thing, but we're working through it. And don't worry, folks. You can still catch old episodes. And the old episodes will be back on the audio portion. So we're just having to move some things around for now. But how is everything over there? And as usual, looks like half the state's on fire, unfortunately.
Yes, we are on fire, as usual, this time of year, and that's always fun. I can say that...
Are you okay? Are you safe?
Yeah, I'm safe.
Good.
There was a fire not too far from me yesterday, but they took care of it really quickly.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Which was good. And Monday we had to evacuate our new office building because it was the smoke had gotten in there.
Oh, my gosh. At this point, go.
Yep. I was gonna say that was my birthday. I get to work and I'm like, something's on fire. I'm like, okay, get in the building. We're there for a couple hours, and they're like, yeah, everybody go home. We can't get the smoke out of here.
Okay, laters.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say, you're starting to get used to smoke inhalation as you are as an earthquake.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, look, when the end of days comes and the apocalypse comes and there are nuclear explosions everywhere, I'll be able to breathe the air.
End of days. Well, as long as you're safe, that's most important.
Yes, no,
Good.
I am safe, and as far as I know, everybody I know is safe, which
Good.
is great. But there are a lot of people struggling out there right now because these things are intense.
Of course, it stinks, I guess, literally and figuratively. And we wish everyone the best of luck over there in California. So, and you know what? To harken back to old episodes that people can't listen to anymore, I'll do a terrible segue. With the atrociousness of those fires that are happening in California, I think pales in comparison to the atrociousness of a recent video game that you just bought.
Yeah, that doesn't compare. Nice try. I think people's safety trumps the idea of a bad video game.
Oh, I figured the game looked horrible. I don't know, but
a good way to put it is the game is pretty much a dumpster fire. How about that?
Fair enough. And uncontrollable. What game did you buy recently that the internet is going nuts over?
Well, okay, so I bought WWE 2K20.
Nice.
It's usually my annual birthday gift, so I decided to pick it up. And of course, I wasn't really paying attention to the reviews, or in this case, the lack of reviews that were showing up online before release.
Well, to be fair, though, I didn't see a lot of reviews online, and... You pre-ordered it, so it's not like, you were going into this. I first heard of all this nonsense happening, like, later on in the day after everyone would have already had their copies. But you're a first-hand experience here of the game. Let's just get right into it and talk about the slight issue with WWE 2K20.
So, before I say that, I just wanted to say there was a reason why there weren't any reviews beforehand. Because normally, review sites, stores and everything, like, people get these things ahead of time so they can put their reviews out because obviously solid reviews will equal better game sales. Mm-hmm. And it's like a movie. When a movie doesn't, when a studio doesn't allow critics to see a film before it's released, usually that's not a good sign. And in this case, it bore fruit as well. So 2K20 released on October 22nd, if I remember correctly, which was a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. By the evening of October 22nd, after I had played it, I wanted to send it back.
You did. You texted me. You're like, I gotta send this back.
I'm sending this crap back. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to hang on to it because I buy every copy of the game anyway. They'll release a patch because that's the new thing now. It's like a game doesn't have to work when you release it because we'll send you a patch to download later.
Here's the thing, though. What's wrong with the game? That's the whole thing. The zaniness.
Okay, everything. Like I've yet to encounter any aspect of the game that doesn't have something wrong with it. So
This is a bug everywhere.
Yeah, you go from the top down. There's a bug and there's a glitch. So, perfect example. One of the things that I always like to do when I play newer wrestling games, they have this whole thing called universe mode, and in universe mode, you basically create you create your own shows and you pick your roster, and then it basically simulates a year of shows and matches and stuff like that, and then you can play through it.
So you basically GM or the booker, if you will.
Yeah, basically the general manager. So and you can go in there and you can create what you want, but you can't use any tag teams. You can't use any created superstars for tag teams. It's just
Weird.
missing.
Okay.
And not only that, when you try to create a division, because you actually can create championship divisions. So here's my world championship division, here's my intercontinental, here's my tag team. So when you try and make a tag team division, you can't use any created superstars for tag teams. So when I do a universe mode, this is where the retro part comes in for me. Yeah. I like doing old 80s style wrestling.
Nice.
That's what I grew up on as a kid. So I want to go back and create stuff, create a little division from 35 years ago. So I have to download all of these guys. Yeah. And it's fine. I can download them. I can put them in there. I was like, but when it comes to making tag teams, no dice, can't do it.
And you love tag teams.
And I love tag team wrestling. It's one of my favorite things. So can't do that. And then also the menu screen on top, when you try to because they have these the menu screen, there are titles superimposed over each other, so you can't even read the menu on top.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that's just some of it. What I went into just seeing it online, and this is the part that I found hysterical at some point, is just once the match starts, there's no hit detection. The game is just nuts.
Yeah. The collision detection is awful. I've oftentimes been in a match where I've literally punched through somebody and it doesn't phase them. I've had matches where you just lie down on the floor and you don't get up. You're just lying there.
That's just it. Done. Game over.
Yeah, you're just there. Well, no, you'll get up if the AI decides to pick you up. But outside of that, referees who don't count when you pin.
Rogue referees.
Had that.
Are they Dave Hebner?
All of them. Yes. Referees that don't count when you pin. At the time, you with tag team matches, you used to be able to control the guy on the outside if you wanted to. Couldn't do that.
Some of the funnier ones I saw was just something happened.
The glitchy ones.
Glitchy is just. I don't know if there's a word above glitchy, but we need to invent one because it just there's a cat I don't know, whatever character, I think it was Becky Lynch I saw, was just going around the ring like this, just circling the ring for no reason. The middle rope is all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that was a tornado match.
Okay. Literally. Quite literally.
Yeah, there was a tornado set down in the ring and just that's what happened.
One-on-one.
No, I've seen that one. There's the one where Charlotte Flair is she's doing some type of I think it's a pinfall. She's trying to pin somebody, and the referee is stuck behind her. And looks like he's kind of
he's positioned oddly. Andrade would not be happy.
Right, weapons like steel steps going through the floor, wrestlers sinking into the mat, just lowering down. And it's it's unacceptable things like how you get this out into market with all of these glitches is completely unacceptable for any type of company. I mean, it was so bad that Sony was giving refunds to people who downloaded the game.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
On launch day.
On PS4?
On launch day.
Okay.
You actually were able to, if you wrote them and said, I downloaded this game, it does not work, I can't play it at all. Yeah. They were issuing refunds that day.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad this one was.
This was terrible. And you're right. You know, it's one thing nowadays. I almost get, whether it's games or movies, I know where you're coming from with saying, well, like, if they don't allow a preview beforehand. But to me, in today's day and age, and unfortunately in today's society where everything's more negative than positive anyway, it's like some people are just going to critique it just for the sake of critiquing it. Because those seem to be the articles people go to, the bad ones, as opposed to saying, oh, this is amazing. So sometimes I get that. I'm not a fan of, like, listening to, you know, I don't care if you give it 5 stars or 0 stars. I'm still going to try it, or I'm still going to watch it if it's a movie. So that's one thing.
Well, but here's the thing, though. We're talking about professional reviewers. I'm not talking about, like, online trolls who are just going to rip it. Because let's face it, there are people out there who are always going to look at something and say, these are all the things that are wrong with it. Reviewers, though, they have a job to, you know, actually review it properly. So
I mean,
that's the part I'm talking about. It's like when you're holding it back from actual professional video game site reviewers, I'm like, then it brings it into question where you're like, but this game probably isn't going to be good.
Also, you know, again, I agree. I hear where you're coming from. I agree with you. You know, I harken back way back when I saw a reviewer on Channel 11 local news giving this new movie called Forrest Gump 1.5 stars. So, you know, it's like, ever since then, I'm like, that don't make sense. But
wait, you like that movie?
Forrest, oh my God, of course. I could have met the little Forrest Gump and little Jenny at Chiller Theater, but I didn't know where they were and I didn't have any money left. But, you know, not only that, but people also seem to give, like, I just saw a headline recently about, I can't remember the movie now, but, like, just basically, Terminator, Dark Fate. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
But essentially giving away, like, a spoiler plot, a major plot point, just in the header. Like, come on, people. Like, so that's why, again, I'm not in the business, and so of course you understand it a lot more than I do. So I'm an outside vision of it. But sometimes I feel like, all right, maybe 2K, they either knew that this was happening, they had a deadline to push, even though it's nothing new for companies to come out and say, look, we need some more time. But with a sports game, it would need to be on schedule like that. Right. But just the fact that this came out, and then 2 days later, like a 12 gig patch or something comes out?
Yeah, so a couple of days later, they came out with a patch. No, I'm sorry. Day of, there was a patch to download, but it wasn't to fix any of these issues.
It was to add more.
Right. No. They basically, like, if you haven't had enough of them, here's some more. No, they released a patch yesterday, and when I say yesterday, I mean Friday, November 1st, because we're recording on Saturday, to address the following issues. So just listen to this list really quickly. And mind you, it's a very top-of-the-line list. They don't get into the details, but here's the patch from yesterday alone.
Fixed game.
What?
Fixed game. Done.
Fixed game, right. The patch addresses reported concerns regarding the following issues, and we expect to roll out additional patches in the near future to address additional concerns. Reported
concerns. I mean, come on. Clearly, no one was testing the game, but go ahead.
No, I mean, and even like when they found out that there were issues, like the response from 2K was like, oh, well, you know, we understand that some people are having some concerns with the game, and we will look into these and take care of them. It was like as generic a response as you can get. I'm like, you guys should be in politics.
A long time ago, I was in customer service, somewhere different, and trust me, those are the cookie cutter answers that you do have to give. So
stick to the script. Totally get it. All right, so here's the list. Gameplay and controls.
That's A through Z. That's it. You're done.
That's it. That's pretty much everything. It's like, we understood we messed up the gameplay and the controls.
Short of really giving you a different game in the box that you bought. How else are you going to change it? All right.
So that's the first issue. Second issue, graphics and clipping. Okay, so now you're telling me that your game had issues with the gameplay, the controls, and the graphics.
It accidentally came out 16-bit.
But that's a game.
No, that is. You're right. That's
the gameplay, control, and graphics. You're telling me right at the get-go that you had to release a patch to address these concerns. And not only that, this isn't even a full patch because there are so many issues with this game I didn't even talk about that this is going to take them forever to fix. Okay, so those are just 2 bullets. Hair physics. Now, if you watched
I will be damned if hair physics in my game is not messed up.
Well, let me tell you something. When you watch some of the graphics in the game and the hair physics, it looks like a game that was released back on the PlayStation 2. Like, that's how bad it is.
Oh, like...
I'm telling you, you can go look up video clips.
Oh, I have.
This game is just for the entertainment value alone. All right, that's the 3rd bullet point. I'm nowhere near to done.
Bullet point number 4: adding the Benny Hill theme now to every match.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Little yakety yak. Yep.
Okay, so number 4: hit detection and aiming. Again, we talked about that before. You couldn't even aim at people properly. It was amazing. Interactions with tables, ladders, steel steps, and other objects, because they would sink through the floor. They would disappear. You would have a ladder match and win by pinfall. It was complete chaos.
This TLC 2012. Okay.
Referee actions. So hopefully the referee isn't going to be humping the female superstar.
I hope not. Good lord, especially on the Switch. It's a family.
I know. It's just crazy. On-screen button prompts. So, like, there are parts of the game where, like, you're in a submission and you have to press certain things and whatnot. Okay, or you're getting pinned and you have to press something. That was screwing up.
Well, to be fair, I've always screwed that up. So I'm never good at that.
Yeah, but that's because you're not good at it. That's totally different story. We can't patch you.
Oh, God. If only we could.
All right. Please, I'd be busy patching myself. All right. Characters warping, in quotes.
Oh,
characters warping or moving unnaturally around the arena.
All right, short of Undertaker.
Tornado thing or get stuck and whatnot. Crashes and freezing, which, by the way, they have not fixed completely. I've already encountered more of that. Image downloads. There's a whole thing in the game where you can take your photo and download it.
Oh, really?
And then it'll scan you into Creative Wrestler. Did not work at all.
Okay.
Entrances and attires.
Oh boy!
So because entrances, you would come out and like things would be frozen, or characters would have like weird warped heads, or there are images you can see online of where somebody's eyeball is down here by their mouth.
Oh, there you go.
The trail of their skin.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah, it's really weird. Entrances and attires, universe mode editing and saving.
Okay.
Which is one of the issues I'm still having. Mm-hmm. Custom and created superstars and creation modes, which is still an issue. I'll tell you in a second. Commentary and sound effects. The commentators will commentate on stuff that's not even happening in the ring. Awesome. Or they'll talk about people who aren't in the match. Or they'll just,
that's what they do on TV.
You know, well, no, it's like, it's like, welcome to WrestleMania, and you're like at a house show. It's like, okay, we've lost a step here. And the last thing they have on here is online stability, matchmaking, desyncs, and lag. So there was a lot of stuff. Okay. There were a lot of issues with online play. Now, just circling back to a couple of things. Custom and created superstars. Now, I download a lot of custom superstars because I like to create my own
even
mode.
Back to WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, you loved creating characters.
Oh, yeah.
We would spend hours. We would spend hours just creating characters.
Oh, yeah, because we wanted our game to be as up-to-date as possible, and now you have the ability to do it a lot quicker because you have so many people online that are making characters and uploading them. So, of course, I go in, I'm starting to look for guys, and my universe mode is broken into 3 sections. 80s WWF New Generation, which is that mid-90s weird kind of spot, and then Attitude Era.
Okay. So I'm unfamiliar with this WWF. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Pandas, fighting pandas. So
I hate those pandas.
So, and then the Attitude Era, which was the late 90s that everybody knows about. So it's like I'm focusing basically on the 80s to 2000.
Okay.
Separating shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going through created superstars, and I'm like, who do I want? Okay. Jeff Jarrett pops up, and I'm like, ooh, cool. I was like, and somebody made him as New Generation Double J and as Slapnuts Jeff Jarrett.
Okay, yep.
Like the basically the Attitude Era and the New Generation. For anybody who doesn't follow wrestling, I'm sorry you don't understand these things, but there are different eras. So I go to download him, And I get the little download bar, and the download bar goes all the way across, and it gets to the end. And then as it gets to the end, there's a little pink circle that goes around. It's like, when you're finally finishing or saving the download.
Yeah.
5 minutes goes by. 10 minutes goes by. It's not going away.
Because Jeff Jarrett is actually traveling to your house at this point. That's what's happening.
That's what it is. He's like, all right, I came over to be in the game. What's up? So I'm like, okay, what do I do? The only way to get out of this infinite loop is to go back to your PlayStation menu and shut the game off.
Oofa.
Now, did it just happen with him? No.
Nah.
Found Owen Hart. Oh, I'm going to download Owen Hart. Nope. Same thing, infinity loop. And then the real kicker, of all the people that get stuck on with my game, I couldn't even download Ahmed Johnson. Now, what the hell?
And he's been stuck on an infinite loop. So
he's been stuck on an infinite loop forever. I go well, maybe then somebody made him exactly the game. Other issue with downloading custom superstars is if somebody created a superstar with an article or clothing or something like that you haven't unlocked in the game, it doesn't allow you to download the person. Which I understand.
I can almost understand that, yeah.
However, I bought all of the extra DLC, which unlocks everything in the game, and I still can't download people that are using stuff that hasn't been unlocked.
That's your problem right there. Okay.
Yeah. So, needless to say, this game, again, like I said earlier, this game is a complete dumpster fire. I kept it for a couple of reasons. One of them is I assume they'll release patches to eventually fix it so it will be playable. So I'm hanging on to it, holding out hopes that I will actually be able to play the game. Right now, all I'm doing in the game is I'm going in and tweaking what I can to prep it, basically, for when it works. But I gotta say, it's like, so I'm already putting hours into the game just setting up my little universes. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know if it's ever going to work. Oh, one cool thing, I will say one positive thing about the game. And again, I haven't really been playing them the last few years, but there's you can save custom match settings.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, which is kind of cool. So in other words, like I created a Survivor Series match setting so that, because I love Survivor Series matches, and you could do 4-on-4 elimination tag in the game, but they don't have it set up in the menu. You would have to go into the settings and automatically set it up in the match settings. So I set it up, and you can call it whatever you want. So I call it Survivor Series, and now when I do matches, I can go to custom matches and pick that one.
That's good.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah, so I like, so there's some cool stuff about the game. Make no mistake about it. But it's riddled with so many bugs. So many bugs.
I'm starting to think that maybe in reality, the release date is like Thanksgiving, and we're just a very, very big beta testers. The world is 2K's beta test, and they're like, you know what? Let's just do it in this fashion. Yeah, it's got to be the only way. It's got to be the only answer.
Yeah, well, but you know what? It's also not the only game that's come out that has been this way. And let's face it, like games today now, when you can download them, they can release them with bugs, because whether they know they're in there or they don't know they're there. Because let's face it, 2K had to know that this game was buggy as hell. And they were catching hell before this when the NBA 2K game came out also. NBA 2K getting a lot of complaints as well. So companies nowadays know that they'll release something just to make their release date, because let's face it, again, this is going behind the curtain. Business-wise, they're putting a lot of marketing dollars into a game. So when they say this game is releasing on this date, they have to release it on that date because they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars marketing these games. So they can't miss their delivery date. So today, you can release a game and say, all right, fine. We know there are problems with it. We'll release patches as we go to fix the issues, and everything will be fine eventually. Because this isn't the only one. Like, you can look at Grand Theft Auto 5 had issues. Diablo 3 had issues. What's the other? I have a list of games here.
There was a game, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the game right now.
Skyrim, Batman Arkham Knight, Dragon Age, Grand Theft Auto, like all the popular games that you've played recently, Battlefield, they've all had patches released because there were issues.
Not only recent games, but of course these are these massively huge games. So on the flip side, I guess devil's advocate, you know, you get these games, exactly how much can you test in these larger games? You know, back in the Super Nintendo N64 era, the games weren't that big. I mean, they were big for those times. Don't get me wrong. We thought nothing would ever get bigger. But, you know, with these massive games that are coming out with the graphics and the littlest thing can, you know, when coding... All right, I get little things sometimes happening. You're right. And that's what's actually good about games nowadays is that, yeah, a company can download a patch to fix something real quick, where you got games from the Super Nintendo that got glitches in them that are going to be there forever because you can't update it. So that's kind of the good part of it.
Yeah, well, it's good and it's bad, I think. Well, the good part of the current ones, yeah. The bad part would be going back and looking at older games because I just, you know, because we were going to talk about glitches and broken games and stuff like that. I wanted to go back and see, well, do I remember any games, you know, from back in the day that I would consider broken? And to be honest with you, there weren't that many.
I'm trying to think myself.
It depends on how you define broken. So, perfect example. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. There's a glitch in the game that allows you to finish the game in like 2 minutes.
Oh, I've seen that video.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning when you go into the first castle. There's actually a way to break through some of the walls in the castle and go right to the last boss. That's what I mean. Like glitches in games are that's technically, it's not a broken game, but they're glitches that are problematic or can be problematic.
But a lot of those as well also is almost like, because I've seen someone do it with, I want to say either Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World, where it's almost like you're also playing with the coding of the game while you play. I can't remember which Super Mario game, but it was so specific on what had to be done. I'm not going to get this right, but like you had to make sure a Goomba walked 13 steps, and when that happened, you had to get a fire flower at this point, and this, and then with all this magic happens at the right time because the game basically the code is reading what's going on. Something happens, boom, you're at the end of the game. Like it almost just magically warps you because you're literally recoding the game. Those are the old ones, and those are the. And kind of some people take advantage of those, and you're right, Ant, like you said before. Is it a part of the game? Is it a glitch? Part of the game meaning, like, do you count it? Especially with these speed runs and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, speed runs, usually they say if it's part of the coding, if the glitch is just in the code, then it's fair game. But yeah, it's been weird. I can only imagine some of the other stuff. I'm trying to remember myself.
Well, perfect example for a game where it's kind of broken. The horror that was Superman 64.
I think that was broken from conception.
No, but I just mean like the collision detection was bad. Again, there was stuff that just popped in. The objectives were all over the place. You really just couldn't figure out what you were supposed to do in that game. And not to pile onto DC, but the Aquaman game that was on the GameCube, the same issue. And then the Sonic the Hedgehog game that came out in 2006.
Oh, okay,
which actually wasn't supposed to be a Sonic game. Sega shoehorned Sonic into the game.
Shocking.
But Sonic would get like stuck in places, and you couldn't continue the game, and you would have to just like reset the game or stop the game and things like. There are so many. There aren't that many. Like again, there aren't that many that I go back to and think of. These are like broken, as in unplayable.
There was a game reviewed by the Angry Video Game Nerd. It was some sort of like big rig trucker or something like that.
Oh, I have that on my list.
Yeah, that is so
big rigs over the road
racing. Oh my gosh. Literally you can go straight through the mountain, straight through the bridge, straight through the water. And this thing had a major release. Well, it had a public release.
Right.
It's wild, some of the stuff.
Well, that's why you don't buy big rig games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like literally, they just said, you know what? Screw collision detection. Like we don't need it. One of my favorite ones that I just read. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, it was called 1998, a PC game called Jurassic Park Trespasser. Right. It was a PC game with at the time a new concept, a completely minimalist player interface with all information filtering through the character's own body. how does this work, right?
That sounds
For
odd.
example, instead of a health meter on your screen, you kept track of your vitality via a heart-shaped tattoo on the character's breast.
All right.
So when the tattoo on your female character's breast was empty, you die.
All right. Well, as you do in real life.
Yeah. And then, aside from that, just usual, like, there are images of raptors, literally, like, half of a raptor's, like, running into a wall and the other half is missing. So it's like, it looks like the raptor is, like, phasing through a wall, getting stuck in fences and stuff. Like,
the raptor's going through rapture.
Yeah, basically. Aliens Colonial Marines was another disaster game.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, where it was an absolute mess. It was completely buggy from start to finish. The Sonic game, which I told you about, it wasn't even supposed to be a Sonic game, and for good reason. Here's an interesting one that I wanted to share, because I know we're going long on this topic, but I'm enjoying my rant. Silent Hill HD, when they were remaking that.
Okay.
The reason why the game actually wound up being remade broken is because Konami accidentally or on purpose threw away the original code before they passed it on to the company that was going to make the game and distribute it.
Oops. So the new company just had to basically start from scratch.
Yeah, well, no, what they did is they handed them the unfinished version of the game.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then just said, here you go. We threw away the original code. Best of luck finishing this. Goodbye.
Enjoy.
Yeah. So it just amazes me. Here's one too. I thought this was interesting. There was a game on the Atari Jaguar, going retro.
Jaguar.
On the Atari Jaguar called Fight for Life. It was a basic fighting game. Like a 3D fighting game. However, they released the game knowing that they didn't finish it. They knew they didn't complete the game. They just released it anyway.
There's no ending.
Yeah. Let's see. A decent fighting game. So this was the same guy who worked on Virtua Fighter. Do you remember the Virtua Fighter
of course. Virtua Fighter is awesome.
Yeah. They refused to give Atari the latest build in the game. Okay, so in the midst of the final death throes of the Jaguar, which at this point had stopped paying employees since the company was being sold off to Hasbro, after 4 months of surviving, the developers of the game finally put their foot down and refused to give Atari the latest build of the game until they were given their back payments, because Atari wasn't paying the developer. Yeah. So Atari did the reasonable thing. This is what the article on Cracked is saying. Atari did the reasonable thing. They released whatever code they had already and called it the game.
Guess what? You got paid enough, so we're going to release the game that we technically paid for.
Right, so Fight for Life was roughly 60% done when they released it.
So it was literally fighting for its life.
Yes. Let's see. The characters stood around like idiots because no one programmed their animations yet. The game intro looks like an awkward attempt at speed dating for cosplayers.
What? Wow. All right.
I like this. Crack.com. Great article. But again, so there have been some retro games that have been released broken.
Yeah, clearly.
But it doesn't compare to games released today, because again, developers know that they can fix it later.
Yeah.
But at what point do you draw a line and say you can't keep treating the consumer this way? Because once they have your money, technically they're not obligated to fix it. They could eventually just say, well, we know it's broken, but we're not going to waste time and money fixing it, so best of luck to you.
I mean, I guess it could be false advertising, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess you could sue.
But it's hopefully that's not the case, and things happen in today's day and age of needing it of instant gratification, needing it now. It's almost better off. It's always better. What do they say? It's better to ask for an apology than ask for permission. So they're better. Sometimes it's just release it now. Our bad. Here's a patch to fix it. Now we're good to go. I think it's just, unfortunately, today's day and age, not just in games, but in everything. But with that being said, hopefully these gratuitous situations like 2K20 are very, very few and far between. So
yeah. So based on this conversation, are you going to buy 2K20?
Oh, in a heartbeat when it goes on sale Black Friday, because I got to have my collection of 2K games.
That's very true.
You know, I mean, I heard the writing is terrible in it, but beyond that, you know.
The writing is terrible in it. They need to hire better writers.
Is that the only thing that didn't glitch? Is the writing?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, the promo mode is pitch perfect.
Yes. All right. Well, let us know if you ended up buying 2K20. Let us know your thoughts and what you've encountered. Any other games that maybe you've listened to or watched or heard or whatever that may have been glitched, broken, just something completely different. I ordered Turtles 3 on NES one time from GameStop. I got Tetris. So, you know, that's completely different. Yeah, but it still had the Turtles logo on it.
That's awesome.
Hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook, let us know your thoughts, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to glitch this episode right now, Ant, as I got a couple of retro birthdays for you.
Yes, well, you know, not only are we glitching the episode with the retro birthdays, what most people don't know is we've already glitched once before.
Oh, absolutely. This is take 2, my friends. I have no problem admitting that. 2 big birthdays this month. The first one is, in my eyes, one of the biggest franchises to really go beyond Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter to take over the genre, Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct was a really good. It was a really good fighting game, and somehow in my brain, I'm also thinking of Killer Instinct as a wrestler, and I don't know why.
Yeah, me too. Probably not a good one, but
no, awful. Anyway,
the game hit the arcades October 24th, 1994, and it was getting ready to be released on a system known as the Ultra 64.
Ah, yes. The Ultra 64.
As we know it now as the Nintendo 64. And getting Super Nintendo port, a Game Boy port, which is very weird. And then, of course, N64 Killer Instinct Gold. Came out on a lot of systems. Great game because it had a very weird collection of characters. It was like a boxer, a raptor, a wolf. Like, it really didn't make sense, the type of characters. But it was a cool 3D fighter.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was an alternative version to Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, which at that point, everybody was getting into these the fighting genre, so people were just trying to get out there and try something different. I thought Killer Instinct was a good attempt at that.
Oh, totally. It had a great soundtrack too, killer soundtrack, if you will.
Yeah.
And with that, also, we have one more, in my opinion, a great console that came out in Japan, actually, October 21st, 1998, which was the Game Boy Color.
Ooh.
So, Game Boy Color was the first major overhaul. You had the Game Boy Pocket, which shrunk the Game Boy, actually made it a black and white screen, a little bit clearer than the original Game Boy. But the Game Boy Color, as its name says, now let you play games in color, some of which specifically designed for the Game Boy Color. So you got like a full palette, as opposed to just some changes in color for older games.
Okay, very cool.
Also, one of the first times where I ended up rebuying games, because you'd have the Game Boy version, like Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening or Tetris, and then you get the color version, the DX version. So that's where I experienced that part.
Right. That was Nintendo, probably one of Nintendo's earliest attempts at just trying to hoodwink people for buying the same game over and over again.
Of course.
And it works.
And
it works very well.
Fun fact, the best-selling game for the system, shocking, Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Not surprising at all.
So the Game Boy and Game Boy Color sold 118.69 million units between them, over 500 million games being sold in total. So the Game Boy Color, and it was backwards compatible, so you can see it as a Game Boy, just with a little bit of a kick to it.
Cool.
And I
Very
loved
cool.
it. Yes. And so happy birthday to Killer Instinct, happy birthday to Game Boy Color, and that's this week's Retro Birthdays. All right. Good stuff. We're making it through this glitch-heavy episode.
Yeah, there have been quite a few bugs in the episode itself. Forget about the topic.
Yeah, there really have been. It's been as we go through. And then with the...
You know what? Oh. There's one big bug in this program, and I think it's been here every week or almost every week.
How dare you?
Really? What?
I am entertaining the masses.
Who said I was talking about you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Guilty about something?
Anywho, let's get ready to wrap this up. But before we do, we got some quick news for you. One of which is, I'm going to tell you right now, because there is no bugs to it whatsoever, except for the ones that you suck up in the vacuum. Luigi's Mansion 3 just dropped on the Switch, and by golly, it is fantastic.
That's all I'm hearing.
No, it's. I mean, it's a Nintendo. I'm not just. Yes, I know we're Nintendo heavy. Whatever. The game is phenomenal. I've played all three. I got Luigi's Mansion launch title on the GameCube, which was a great game. It showed off what the very underrated GameCube could do, and it gave Luigi a starring role for the first time. So, well, at least a major starring role.
Yeah, he needed it.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was released on 3DS, the sequel. Again, another blockbuster. If you have a 3DS and if you haven't played Dark Moon, definitely check it out. Well worth it. And then now we have Luigi's Mansion 3, which of course takes the power of the Switch and just blows it up with the graphics and the gameplay and the style. Multiplayer, haven't had a chance to play yet. But this game, it's great one player, but the whole Luigi thing, where you have like the second character, in a 2-player game, the two of you can individually control Luigi and Luigi. So I guess it kind of makes the game a little bit, not easier, but a little bit more fun to go through with a second player. As far as I know, that part's local multiplayer, though, not online.
Okay. So you actually have to have a physical friend.
If you want to do that part, yes.
Yeah.
Like someone sitting next to you.
You know,
I think.
I'm sorry, Larry.
I know. It's only child. What can I say? I'm used to it, at least.
Who am I to speak? Unless one of my cats wants to do it. Do you want to play as Luigi? They're trying to kill each other.
Okay, fair. That's your killer instinct right there.
I'm sitting here right now so they know that I'm watching them, because one's like hunkering down low, ready to defend, and the other one's just standing over her. Come on.
All right.
Bring it up.
Round 1. Fight.
Right? No flawless victories here once the claws come up.
Boo. But definitely go get Luigi's Mansion 3. Absolutely well worth it. Game is fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah. It's definitely on my list now. I've never played the original one on GameCube, and I've heard how great it is. It's one of the ones that it's like a game I need to buy so I can play it.
Well, with the success of this, who knows if they'll re-release those too on the Switch? Luigi's Mansion and Dark Moon.
That's entirely possible. So, so I may just wind up getting it for the Switch if it comes out. We'll see. Time will tell us.
Absolutely,
as it always does with everything. But cool. Nice to hear a game that's actually
working.
Good. And speaking of a game, another game. I didn't mention this to you earlier, but there's a game that came out on Halloween that I've been waiting 15 years for.
Wow. That's long development. There better not be a single glitch in that game.
There better not be. But why do I have a feeling there might be? I haven't played it yet, but I've talked about how I have been a big fan of The Seventh Guest. That was one of my first full-motion video, first-person puzzle games, and then there was a sequel to it, which wasn't as good, but I still enjoy it, called The 11th Hour.
Okay.
Now, way back in 2004, somebody... Right. Way back in 2004, somebody started a fan site saying that they wanted to make a sequel to the game as just a fan, just a fan making a game, the way that people make homebrews. But again, it's a big undertaking because Seventh Guest and everything, there's full motion video sequences and everything like that. So anyway, I found this website back in like 2005, and I just started following it because I'm like, okay, I was like, let me follow it. And the guy called the name of the game was called The 13th Doll.
Okay.
A fan sequel to The Seventh Guest. Years go by. The guy would update every once in a while and say, "Hey, look, I'm doing this in my spare time. I don't have a lot of time to work, on it and everything." But then he started getting other people who were fans of The Seventh Guest saying, "Hey, we would love to pitch in and help."
Oh, wow.
And so he started getting other people that were starting to develop it, and it started to steamroll to the point where now we're talking 7, 8, 9 years down the line, where he's like, okay, we're actually putting this together and it's going well. So they opened this Kickstarter page asking people if we're going to make the game, but we need funds in order to finish it. They raised the money they needed for the game. I was a Kickstarter backer as well. Because I'm like, I've been following this for so long. Yeah. I want to play the game. So 4 or 5 years ago, they did the Kickstarter, got the money they needed. It took them longer than they planned on doing it. It was only supposed to take a year or two to finish. It took them up until October 31st, 2019, where the game finally became available on Steam. So you can now buy the 13th Doll, a fan sequel to The Seventh Guest. Now, not only that, but the company Trilobite actually wound up supporting them and allowed them to release this game.
That's cool. That's
Very
cool.
important. Yeah, because Trilobite owns the rights to the original game, so the only way they were going to be able to release it was with their blessing.
Yeah.
They obviously got their blessing before the Kickstarter, otherwise they wouldn't be able to do it. On top of that, for the full motion video sequences, obviously they needed actors to, shoot the sequences.
Are you in the movie?
No. I did not back them up at that level.
Oh, okay.
You were able to.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Yep. For like $5,000 or something like that, you were able to be in the game.
Okay.
But they went back and got the original actor who played the villain in the first Seven Guests.
That's cool.
So it's really cool. Now, not gonna lie, I haven't played it yet, but the reviews online, like, people are loving it as again an homage to the original, which means you're not talking 2019 graphics, 2019 animation, 2019 acting.
Oh, so like okay.
It's like you're playing. It's similar. I mean, the graphics definitely look better than what it used to be. But what I'm saying is, it's still like playing a game in the early 90s where the full motion video sequences look kind of like out there. And again, the acting is bad. It's really like trying to capture what this game was like back then so that it was a proper sequel. Really excited. I'll probably stream a little bit of it at some point soon once I get around to playing it, because I'm dying to play it. I just haven't had a lot of time.
Like they sent you the code when you bought it on Kickstarter, so you got the game.
Yeah, I got the stream. Yeah, I got the code so that I can download it. So I already got it on my PC.
Awesome.
I just need to play it. But just a really cool story about how a bunch of fans who love the game created their own sequel and got the rights to do it. It's just an amazing story for a game like 15 years in the making.
No, that's definitely cool. Here we go. I'm trying to looking up. Just wanted to check something real quick. So the campaign for $13, how successful it was. 1,199 backers, and it raised almost $60.3 thousand. So that's good. And all right, sweet. I was hoping to see if it was going to be released on other systems as well, because it sounds really cool. Maybe down the road.
Yeah, I mean, to my understanding, it's only going to be available for download on PC. I think if you donated a certain amount of money to the Kickstarter, you can get a physical copy of the game.
Oh, that's usually how they did that, yeah. Hey, there's also a Seventh Guest board game. Interesting.
Which I need to get my hands on.
All right, $13th Doll, very cool. A lot of those games, that you back on Kickstarter, it's hit or miss, and sometimes you wait a long time and you forget about it. I've probably gotten about 3 or 4 games at this point that I already have that I've backed on Kickstarter. The most recent one was Xenocrisis,
Yeah.
Which I got on the Switch. You can download it on the systems. They had physical releases like for Genesis carts, Mega Drive carts, even Neo Geo carts, and Dreamcast disc. So,
oh wow!
I just got the digital, but still, it's very cool to see. All right, $13. Yeah, definitely let us know how that is. That's gonna be interesting.
I will.
So, I think it was last week or maybe the week prior. I just want to this is a quick follow up on something that we mentioned before. Versus Castlevania was released on the Switch.
Oh yes,
which was the arcade version of Castlevania, part of the Nintendo's Versus series. Great series of games. But I was trying to figure out the difference between Versus Castlevania and regular Castlevania. Because it's basically Castlevania 1 on the arcade. Right. And we're not talking Haunted Castle. Basically, the difference is, which to me, this is like on a Mega Man level of difficulty, is that the arcade is just a lot more difficult than the NES version. And the NES version was tough. So, that, like, there's no real difference in the board or the level or anything. Even Versus Super Mario Brothers had a little bit of tweaks on them. But yeah, it's considerably harder. The enemies deal double damage in this
Oh,
versus
wow.
Castlevania than it does on the NES version. So
They wanted your quarters.
oh, absolutely. And the color palette's a little different. Color palette almost looks like Castlevania 3. But nevertheless, definitely, if you want a harder version of Castlevania, check out versus Castlevania.
Understood. I'll pass.
All right.
Let's tag back over to me. So something interesting happened on Amazon.
Yes.
A few days ago. So apparently a bunch of Amazon third-party stores that were trying to sell Nintendo products on their third-party stores received some type of letter.
Shocking.
And the letter stated as follows. As part of our ongoing efforts to provide the best possible customer experience, we are implementing approval requirements for Nintendo products. Effective on October 31st, 2019, you will need approval to list the affected products. If you do not obtain approval to sell these products prior to October 31st, 2019, your listings for these products will be removed. Which sent a lot of third-party sellers up in arms because they're like, what are you talking about? These are because a lot of these people are selling used games, just like a GameStop or a Game On or any other store that we go visit. They're just selling used games online. So all of a sudden they get this whole email. 2 days later, Amazon responded about these restrictions, and supposedly, they said it was a mistake. And they said yesterday's email to third-party Amazon sellers was sent in error, and all impacted listings were reinstated within hours.
Okay, well, that's good.
Which is good, but it also makes you wonder, because we all know how controlling Nintendo likes to be.
Very.
And for Amazon to send out a letter of this magnitude, it's hard to believe it was a mistake. And I'm wondering now if Nintendo is really trying to go out there and strangle the secondary market for games, because retro gaming is now, and I think it's kind of passing the fad stage. It's a thing. It's just a thing. There is a retro gaming, there are retro collectors out there. And now collecting retro games is becoming a bigger thing, because from what we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, collectors now are starting to move into the video game industry because they, as just like a new medium, you got comic books, you got, trading cards, you've got records and stuff like that. Video games is just now the next step in this evolution of collecting, some type of media. And I wonder now if Nintendo is seeing some type of market for this, and they're trying to take control of it, because this is probably one aspect they've never foresaw as becoming a lucrative, lucrative industry.
I can see what you're talking about on that. Could be, but I think it's more Nintendo being Nintendo. So
yeah, you can't sell our stuff again. That's not allowed. Wah.
Look, they had a big issue with rental company, way back in the day when mom and pop video game stores, movie rental stores starting to rent Nintendo games, and Nintendo was trying to crack down on that. Yeah,
but at the same time, but those stores also were paying more money for the games.
Exactly.
You have to remember, at the time, video stores would tend to get stuff before it was released to the general public. So, I worked in a video store.
Yeah, I remember
when they bought a movie on VHS, they had gotten it sometimes 3, 4, 5 months before it ever came out for consumer. So they would pay hundreds of dollars for a VHS.
No,
because the idea was they would make the money back with rentals through profit before it was available for sale.
Yeah, but Nintendo tried stopping it. They tried to axe it. For the video games.
Because they saw it cutting into their sales.
Exactly.
Why would anybody buy a game if they could just rent it for a day? Because let's face it, renting video games was definitely a bonus for us as kids, because we could if we love the game, go back to mom and dad and say, for my birthday, I want this game. If the game is god awful, well, never have to play it again.
I want to rent this game.
Well, and you also don't waste $50 on a game that is awful. you only wasted $1.50 or $2 or whatever it was back then.
$2
In my day.
We had to walk to school uphill both ways.
Yes, just to rent a video game for $1.50.
It sucks getting old. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how Amazon continues with that and screws it up again.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. So we have coming out very soon, and I'm thinking this may be a UK exclusive, but we have another micro console getting ready to hit the universe here.
I don't know how micro it is though.
It is the ever so ugly Capcom Home Arcade.
Yes.
So basically, just imagine a giant Capcom logo with arcade buttons on it.
And a joystick.
Of course, 2 joysticks. And what's annoying about the buttons is the buttons, as far as I can tell, are not labeled, and they are like part of the graphic. So it's like it blends in.
They blend in, and you can't see anything on them. So this thing, like design wise, hideous. It looks like something though. Like here's how I see it. It looks like something you would put on your lap to use.
Yeah, totally.
But at the same time, you need a second player to sit next to you. Otherwise, it's just going to flop over.
That's true. That is very true. Now, this bad boy is retailing for £200 over on Amazon.co.uk. I'm not sure what
trying to say. That heavy?
It may be a little heavy, the system. I don't know what £200. Let's find out. How much is £200 in US dollars?
It's $260.
Oh, close. $258.85. But for the all right, so pricey, and it's only 16 games, but these are 16 arcade quality games from Capcom. And let's face facts, Capcom had a lot of home runs in the arcade field. Did. So let's run through this just real quick. Ghouls and Ghosts, Strider, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Capcom Sports Club, Giga Wing, Echo Fighters, 1944, The Loot Master. It's like the only one I'm interested in. Yep. Mega Man, The Power Battle, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Darkstalkers, that was a classic. Yeah. Cyberbots, Final Fight, Captain Commando, Armored Warriors, and then for the first time being released officially for the home systems, for home play, Pro Gear, and a game that I've played multiple times at Barcade, and the game is phenomenal, Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah.
Alien vs. Predator is one of the best side-scrolling fighters.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome game. I've played it multiple times.
And also one of the very few very good ports of a movie. Well, technically, it's not a port of Alien versus Predator, but I guess it's more of the
I understand what you're saying.
Comic, but still,
yeah. No, great game. I mean, they've got some really solid, like they have a solid collection on there. The problem is, it's I think it's UK only
right now. Yeah,
it's Europe only, and $260 is a very heavy price tag for something that's limited in that respect.
But,
plus. Yeah, I don't have anybody to sit next to me to put it on their lap.
This is true. But they do, it's kind of justified, because if you think about it like this, if you were to get, for Alien vs. Predator and Pro Gear, again, never released before for home console, so the only way to kind of get them is to get the arcade cabinets if you want the exact same experience. Those arcade cabinets, Pro Gear, goes, the arcade board alone goes for about £300. The Alien versus Predator goes for between £300 and £500, and that's an arcade machine with a CRT monitor that once it's broken, it's done. And apparently, which I never knew about, certain arcades, I'm just going to quote here from Nintendo Live, that's where I got this from, quoting, "It's noting, too, that CPS2 games, arcade games, have built-in batteries which need to be replaced every few years by a trained professional. Once these batteries die, the game is effectively useless, which is why collectors refer to them as suicide batteries."
Oh,
I never knew about, So, I mean, if you're like into these games, then price-wise, it's worth it for just those 2 arcade games. Granted, you can get some of these, like the Capcom beat 'em up collection has Final Fight arcade versions of Final Fight, Commando, Captain Commando, Armored Warriors. I think that was it on that one. But nevertheless, great lineup. You know what? I think it is worth the price, just a little out of range for us. But eventually it'll probably come down in price at some point, and then it'll be worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is one of those ones to hold on.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
But it is god-awful ugly. Good
Lord. The same way I held out on the PlayStation Classic and got it for $11.
Whatever.
$11.
Day one. I've been praising it since day one. I'm happy I paid full price. Twice, because I have the Japanese version as well.
I know. The PlayStation Classic is the new Virtual Boy of our show.
Oh! I forgot to mention it. Spoiler alert for Luigi's Mansion 3. It's nothing major. It's not a plot point. If you played the first two games, you kind of know what's coming. But I guess I'll tell you. So, in the first Luigi's Mansion, to communicate with Professor Egad, who's the one that gave you the Protogeist, I think that's what I keep forgetting what it's called. You communicate him with the, I think it was called the Game Boo. It's a Game Boy in the game. You pull it up, you communicate with him, and your options are in there. It's green and everything like that. So that's one thing. In Dark Moon, I forgot what it was called in the game, but essentially you had a 3DS. And you would pull up the 3DS, you communicate with Professor Egad, you go through your menu. Well, Luigi's Mansion 3,
oh god,
you get to use the Virtual Boo, which I know you're going to run with that name.
Oh yeah,
and
well, you know that's basically what they should have called the original system, because that's what it was. It was a Virtual Boo.
And every now and again, you break it out. Luigi holds it up to his head, and then and it's making, they're definitely self-aware. Professor Egad's like, I got this new amazing system. It's called the Virtual Boo. It's red. That's the craze. Red. It's all red. And when you go into it, it is all red. It is, it's hysterical. It's a fun throwback and everything, but I thought you would get a kick out of that.
Very cute.
So, all right. I think we got maybe one more thing here.
I don't know. I'm done.
No? Okay. I may have a little bit of a fever. I don't know. I may have a little bit of
oh yes,
fever that I just thought of now. So filler. That may just very well. Pac-Man fever. All right, I don't want to pay for that anymore. Okay. So,
yeah.
Stop!
Very important. It does not want to stop.
That is an awesome album, actually, by the way. Buckner and Garcia, Pac-Man Fever. Fantastic album from the 70s.
Why are you playing this?
Because that was a hit. Folks, that was a hit back in the late 70s. I'm telling you right now. It was my dad told me and my mom told me they heard it everywhere. My dad was probably beating everyone up who was playing Pac-Man, but they were there. What's happening is in May, this coming May, is the 40th anniversary of Pac-Man, one of the most iconic games of all time.
Wow. And not too long after your 40th anniversary.
Please don't even... Actually, you're right. It's 2 months. God, I'm almost as old as Pac-Man.
Yep. No. You are older than Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm in March. Damn it. That sucks. Yep. All right. Well, be that as it...
I'm older than Pac-Man. I'm older than a lot of other games.
I knew that. I didn't realize I was older than Pac-Man until just now. I'm this year's old.
You're Pac-Man old.
At least Ms. Pac-Man is still looking svelte. So that was released in the late 70s. We now currently have, and you can find it on the, looks like the Bando, I can always get this name messed up, Bandai Namco YouTube page. It is the official theme song for the Pac-Man 40th anniversary called Join the Pack by Ken Ishii. This is quite an interesting song, but it is kind of very upbeat, I think.
No, it's a very interesting theme, and the music video is fun too. Okay, it just got worse.
Has very LMFAO elements to it. So, stop.
Very cool.
Okay. before we have to pay for that. So it's, check it out. It's cool. It's fun. And, I mean, to me, it doesn't beat Pac-Man Fever, but as Anthony pointed out, we're old. So.
Yes, we are. And by the way, that Pac-Man Fever song couldn't have come out in the late 70s since Pac-Man came out in 1980.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, no, you're right.
I just want to fix the timeline a little bit.
No, you're right. Again, glitching. It came out in the early 80s. There you go. So,
there you go. Thank you.
You know why? Because there's other songs on there from games that did come out earlier. So
in the late 70s.
I think so, yeah. I think there's a Pong song on there. Anywho, go check out Pac-Man Fever and join the pack. And I think that's pretty much about it for today. I'm all glitched out.
Yeah, no, I was glitched out like half an hour ago. But that's me.
All right. Ant, where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, Instagram @RetroGamersPodcast. You can email us at email@TheRetroGamers.com. You can check out our website that we haven't updated in a few months at RetroGamers.com. What am I missing?
Twitch.
Twitter. Is Twitter up and running?
Twitter is up and running at RetroGamersPod. And we got our Twitch page at TRG_podcast. So check that out. Pac-Man Fever came out in 1981.
There you go. And you can watch us on YouTube. Just look up the Retro Gamers Podcast. We're on there as well. We are everywhere. Wherever
you listen to us, hit like, hit subscribe. Get us every week on the YouTube page. Hit subscribe and hit that little bell so... Oh, I glitched right there. So whenever a new episode goes up or maybe something special goes up, maybe something from us. Same thing on Instagram and Facebook, just so you know when we put something up. But most importantly, though, those 5-star reviews, thumbs up, likes, whatever it is on the app that you use, definitely check us out. And, of course, check out all the podcasts that we have here that we love doing. And other than that, Ant, I think we're going to call it.
Yeah, no, we are all good. Oh, I do have one bit of good news.
Yes.
It is it's a long ways away, but I have succeeded finally at getting my Comic-Con professional status for San Diego.
There you go.
So
nice.
So I will be attending or be able to attend WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con for the next 3 years as a professional.
WonderCon as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
And we all remember how much you loved going to San Diego Comic-Con.
I know, and now I get to go for all 4 days. All of them.
Nice.
I know.
We can't wait. Can't wait for all the reviews.
It's going to be amazing.
Any chance you also get to go to New York Comic-Con?
No, it's separate.
Of course.
But the cool thing about New York Comic-Con is because I qualified as a professional for San Diego, I can apply to New York also as a professional.
Because just being a podcaster for some reason can't get me in the door anywhere.
No, you have. I think you have to have other qualifications. So, but I do.
You do, absolutely.
So good news on my part. I'm actually,
no, that's cool.
In all honesty, I'm very excited about it. It'll allow me to go to not only to go to San Diego Comic-Con, but I can actually leave and go back and leave and go back. It's instead of just having to put up with it straight through.
For someone who loves comics, who loves the movie industry, who loves video games, you hate Comic-Cons.
It's not no. It's not that I don't hate the conventions. I hate the people at the conventions. The convention's awesome.
And folks, with that, like us, please, wherever you are, because we want you to listen. And with that, we'll catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.